ask me what I feel, but I don't know what's real. Everything I used to say just slowly fades away. I've been down this road before, closed every open door. Now I keep it all inside, where the truth and pain collide. I don't need to explain why I carry all this pain. You won't understand my mind or the scars I left behind. I just live another night in the dark without a light. If I fall alone. That's the only way I've known. Empty glass, broken dreams, nothing's ever what it seems. All the love I tried to keep now just echoes when I sleep. I don't fight it anymore, heard it all before. Every promise turned to dust, now I only trust the rust. I don't need to explain why I carry all this pain. You won't understand my mind or the scars I left behind. I just live another night in the dark without a light. If I fall alone. That's the only way I've known. Maybe I was meant to lose every time I had to choose. Maybe silence is the truth after everything I've been through. I don't need to say goodbye, I just let the moment die. If you ever call my name, I won't answer. I've changed.
Good morning, everyone. How was everyone doing this day after Memorial Day? Hope you're all doing well. My back is feeling a ton better than it did yesterday. I was struggling yesterday, boy. But yeah, I don't know. Something I did yesterday stretched it out enough that it is in the process of getting better, hopefully. I'm just going to manifest that and make that happen regardless, because I got to walk around Blade Show Atlanta, you know, in a week and a half. So I've got to make sure I'm in tip-top shape. Well, I'll need longer than a week and a half to make that happen, but good morning, Mr. B. Shady, and Mr. Nick Martino. Listening to the Crow soundtrack. R.I.P. Brandon Lee, and shout out Alvin Lee. So let's see here. I was going to change my background today, but didn't get around to it. I decided I would show a wide angle and show some of my desk that doesn't get shown normally. Stuff off to the side, as well as the rest of it. I think I can come a little further this way. There's the edge of it. Anyway, last night in my pocket, this knife struck me as somewhat patriotic, being that it is a aeroplane inspired theme. So I carried this with me to work last night. And man, these knives are pretty dang awesome. I could not imagine. I'd say this has got to be at least like a 95% copy, because everything about it is just excellent. The action, the sound, the acoustics, the lockup, the feel, the milling, just about everything. Super sharp. I wish this knife, personally, I wish it had some jimping on it, but none of them do, so can't complain about that. But yeah, I had that in my front pocket last night. And then in my back pocket, I had my Gamer Star Studios Good Screw Cass brand Neutron Star. The knife with the biggest name in history. Good Screw's only knife, I believe, that they released. Gamer Star Studio was owned by Cass brand, Casanova, before he started Cass brand, I guess. And this knife is super awesome because it has no external hardware, and because it's got a super sexy blade, and it's one of my favorites. I've got about, every time I say something's my favorite, I think about the list of favorites growing, but it would definitely probably be in my top 10 for overall look and feel, but it might have to be in the top 20. Good morning, Mr. Pete. Good morning, Mr. Michael. Good morning, Mr. JD. Good morning, Mr. Whalen. Good morning, Mr. TC. Hope y'all are all doing great this morning. So I learned something last night that I was not aware of. And that is that my Arcona So I did not know that this knife glowed. I knew that the new Raphir one did, but I didn't know this one glowed also. And Mr. Nick T sat it next to his bed last night and it charged up, and when he turned off the lights, he said it lit up his whole room. So I did take a picture of that this morning, and you can see that yes it does. In fact, it glows kind of crazy bright. He said it was like it had a battery in it. So that was something I did not know. Good morning, Ill Knives. And the Jerry beside it glows pretty good. And it is right here glowing. That's pretty cool. I still love that little tiny fuller up there that gives you just enough room to do a Spidey flick. Yeah, it's pretty awesome that they made this front flipper just big enough so you can Spidey flick off of it. Front flipper works great on it too, but that little fuller works perfect. Well, Michael, I've had this knife for about a month now, and I love the knife, and I didn't know anything about it. So to me, it's just like an added little cool feature. To me, it didn't change anything about the knife because I love the knife, and it was a total surprise, just like Mr. said, or somebody said. So to me, doing it for the sake of like being a selling point of a knife is one thing, but they don't even advertise that when they sell these knives. So just kind of finding it out of the blue is kind of a nice surprise. Good morning, Brown Sugar. Yeah, so would you just stop automatically liking that knife now that it glows? That's what that's kind of what my question. So if you grew to love this knife and then all of a sudden just learned that it had glow in it, would you throw it out? You know, like I said, if it was one of the strong selling points, I think that's a little weird. Yes, Sever, it is a dope knife. I love this thing. It's definitely in my top 20. Might be in my top 10. I need to do a top 20 list sometime. I like my titanium one too. Titanium one makes a better sound. But I think it's cool to have that little added bonus. It's a bonus. especially with how much I love the knife, and knew nothing about it. Christopher, I sent you a message on tagged you on Discord to ask you if you knew about that. But did you know this knife glows? Mr. Nick T showed me or told me about his glowing last night, and I was kind of shocked. But if you didn't know, now you do. I did not know that at all. I wouldn't have even thought to check it out because of just how the carbon fiber just looks like carbon fiber. I didn't know they added that in to just regular carbon fiber. Yeah, you didn't know either. Well, you might have to get rid of the knife now. And I've got all kinds of room on the table today, huh? I can't wait. My Nirvana is out for delivery today. I can't wait to check that knife out. Boy, that little ratchet knife is weird. What's cool is there's no way it can bounce. So if you slam it closed or slam it open, it can't ever bounce because of the ratchet. Yeah, that's a cool little lock. The NAND is too small. I beg to differ. It fits pretty comfortable, and I'm not even close to the blade. But it is small. I don't know that it's too small. There are knives that are too small for sure. But I have big old mitts, and my mitts work pretty good on it. What is that? Oh, that's my Gerber dime. So I don't know why I have not done this before, and I'm silly to have not done it, but I finally signed up for an affiliate account on Amazon, and the link is just amazon.com/shop and then Blade Alchemy. Pretty easy link. And I would have started saving lots of recommended knives by me on Amazon and knife related stuff. Populating is what I was trying to think of. I would have started populating these lists, but I made 6 categories: knife storage, other EDC gear, sharpening, fixed blade knives, folding knives, and flashlights. So I'm gonna add stuff, only stuff that I like and have used. Well, I take that back. I will add some stuff based on a opinion that will come with being knowledgeable about what would be decent and what would be not for the price. You probably could use my link for that. I don't know though. I might have to add that for you. But right now, for knife storage, I've just got, you know, the Case Club cases and the NAF stuff. I had to populate it with a few things just to get it open to where I could post more to it. So I did a 22 to $35 titanium pins to start that category. I did the Zarlik Gen 1 and Gen 2 and Gen 3 and the Shapton 500 glass stone that I love. And I'll be adding tons more stuff. I only added Joker fixed blades so far, but I'll be adding tons more. Folding knives, I added a bunch of Kaisers, some Concepts. I have every single one of these knives, I believe. Well, I take that back, because why does the sheepdog with this blade shape look so much different to me? Like, why does that not look like a sheepdog? And I guess it's because of the blade shape, but I guess the handles are the same shape. That's just totally bizarre to me that they make the drop point in the sheepdog and it just doesn't look like a sheepdog to me. Okay, I will add that. I need to sign in real quick so that we can add stuff live as we come across it. So let me sign in to my account. I didn't type it right. Alright, let me get my authenticator code. Alright, don't require in this browser. Alright. Now I'm logged in, so now that anything I got over here that I run across, I can hit add to list and it'll pop up those lists. So other EDC gear, it has been added. I do like it for 25 bucks. It comes to a good point. My problem with a lot of pry bars is they don't come to a point. I don't know. Is that one perfectly square? It looks like a lot of it will be sticking out of your pocket. The LT stands for Long Titanium. Very appropriate for Titanium Tuesday. Morning, Starship Hunter. Nick T. Oh, Nick, you probably missed the photo, but check out the glow on the knife you told me about. And there's the other Arcona, the Jerry. Pretty wild. You have one of those. It's the Mighty Bar. Oh, so that's why they call it the LT. Good morning, Cliff. All right. So yeah, anything we run across now, but why does that not look like a sheepdog? Like, why do I think the handle is totally different? But it's definitely not, because you look at it, it's the same handle. But I wonder, it looks like it's a different length and a different size, which is kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know why it looks so different. The drop point blade really changes that knife. And now I really want to get one because I've got the other versions. And I like that Norplex micarta. And I like Elmax. And the price isn't crazy on it. 120 bucks for an Elmax knife is not bad. Does it have a little different? It looks the same as, oh, wait. Yeah, those two, those have a little curve to them on the regular sheepdog, or what I call the regular sheepdog. What is that crazy noise? I mean, sound. But yeah, you can see they curve a little more on the choil, which is pretty dang cool. But basically the same handle. So there's 4 different versions, I guess, with the drop point. See, those look like they got more of a curve than the bigger one did. Ergonomic handles. Jimping. Kaiser. We do it right. Yeah, I don't know why that sheepdog looks so different to me than the regular blade. It's so bizarre that knives can totally change by just the, you know, the blade really does make the knife. Man, deep carry is great. That's about how much of my knife I want sticking up. And at least, did they put that same, I don't know if it has a, it almost looks like it's a titanium clip, but probably not. Huh. Alright. I had some links I wanted to check out. Starting with the beautiful CKF that we can look at this morning. What a pretty knife. It definitely has a chip choil, but it's got a flipper tab too that needs to go. But I thought we'd check out a nice raindrop blade CKF. JD Techno 2 Spyderco's. Yeah, I mean, I know I don't I thought I had one of those. Yeah, I've got a clone of one of those. And I've actually got a I've got a green thorn version of one of them that's got a better clip than the original. And that's kind of weird because I haven't seen that knife in a long time. I have no idea where that knife is, honestly. Oh, here it is. Dang, I found it quick. It's with my small titanium knives case. But this is the green thorn version. And it's got a better clip than the original. Not a great clip. I mean, it's a pretty good clip, but not a super deep carry, but it's not too bad. It goes all the way up to there. But yeah, it's a super cool little size knife. I mean, it's a 3-finger knife. And that's what I was saying. Like, this knife is too small. Because I can get 3.5 on it, but it doesn't have a comfortable forward choil. Yeah, I thought I would show some of the surrounding stuff today, Pete. I don't know. Felt a weird urge. Oh yeah, I sold the other one to Waylon. One thing I don't like about this knife is you can't reverse flick it because they cut off the hole. I mean, you can, maybe. No, yeah. But you almost lock yourself out when trying to get to it. So you have to use a regular thumb for it. But yeah, it's a little guy. The NAND makes it look really little. Oh, Stabitha, what a great name. That is a cool name. Stabitha. You gonna get the purple one? You gotta get the purple one. That's got a good front flipper on it. Yep, you gotta get the purple one. Yes, JD. I do have the Drunken. I showed it not long ago. It's one of my favorite Spydercos. I don't remember where it is. I say that, and then I found it too. The Drunken is pretty dang nice, and the milled carbon fiber is pretty wild. I don't know if you can see all that milling. I guess you can, but it's milled all around the edges, everywhere on it, and then it's got this super cool micro milling on this side too, on the titanium side. Sinkovich is the man as far as this knife goes. But yeah, it's a good size knife. I mean, I can get 4 fingers on it behind the pivot. So yeah, the Drunken is a win. Stabatha. That's so funny. So back to Stabatha and Celestial. I mean, the Celestial has a little bit more aggressive blade, doesn't it's a little bit more aggressive, right? Or something about it. Maybe the... Oh yeah, it's got a big cutout in it. So that's what... But, yes, they look similar. It's got that big hump on the back. It's got that swedge up there on the Celestial. Whereas that one's more of just a straight drop point. Compound ground. When you get to see them back to back, like right next to each other, you can notice more than you notice just looking at them. Yeah, it only has it doesn't have that top swedge. It's the main difference. And of course, thumb stud versus cutout. Yeah, the stovepipe would be a good size for you, Shady. Especially since you're into smaller knives nowadays. Because the stovepipe, just, you know, in with the rest of the knives on the table here, it's kind of close to the Neutron Star, but it's definitely smaller. Quite a bit bigger than the Techno. About the same length as the Nand. And Para 3. It's a little smaller than a Para 3. Not much though. Oh, they have a Slashly? A Stabatha and a Slashly. Nice. I like the fact they're coming up with some cool names. Let's just look at all of them. So they got the Woody, the Akimbo, the Woody, the Stabatha, and the Slashly. Yeah. I don't like when the harpoon is so far forward on blades. But if it was further back, I would like it better. I don't mind the rest of it at all. I kind of like all the rest of it. Handle looks good. Looks like it might be canted up a little bit in that picture. The back looks really good. It's got a good back shot. And the front flipper of the close looks really good too. So yeah, I like everything about it except for that harpoon so far forward. Quite a few knives do that. How cool would that knife look if that harpoon wasn't there and the blade just drop point straight on in? It would look great. In fact, I kind of want to see that. Let's see here. Why is it not on their site? What site am I on? Oh, it is on their site. Oh, there it is. Let me do something really quick while we're looking at that knife. Let me see if I can do this correctly, quickly. Yeah, I like it. Let me see if I can click around and do it at the same time. Alright. Man, I wish I could do this easily. I know I can do it, but it'd be much easier ways to do it if I could select the whole stupid thing at once. My goodness, what am I doing here? Yeah, I can't curve. It's gonna look weird if I cut it off like I'm doing now. Let me see if I can get it pretty close. Alright. That's good enough to look at on the screen. Share to Discord, stuff for channel. All right, here's what that knife would look like without the harpoon on it. Yeah, I know, Cliff. I was doing it on my phone. I was letting y'all look at that picture while I did it on my phone. I was editing on my phone. You weren't supposed to see the screen, Sever. You were supposed to look at that knife. I knew what y'all were seeing. I was working on my phone. So y'all could see the screen. I just wasn't showing my phone screen. I was sitting here doing a bunch of stuff editing on my phone. I guess I could have shown you. Y'all couldn't see the harpoon. Y'all never saw the slashly? Oh, wow. Now that was a mess up. Well, there's the slashly. Sorry. I said I liked everything about it except for the harpoon being so far forward. I don't know why some companies put it way up like that. Y'all can see it now, right? So that's what it looks like without the harpoon. It's all good. Doesn't take long to re-show a knife. But I thought y'all were at least, well, y'all got to see some pretty knives on the table anyway. Yeah, I was in my own world editing a knife picture over here. Starship Hunter, yeah. So all you didn't see was my hand. You can still see a bunch of knives. I've got another knife with that kind of harpoon, and it's one of the ones you have to use way up here. It's kind of like that. It's about that same distance away, but it's more for a pinch cut. I can't think what knife that is that has that. See, this one is about where I want my harpoon to stop so I can get my thumb on it regularly. But I've got something that has, I wonder if it's that, it might be that extrovert. No, let's see. Where is that extrovert? Oh, here it is over here. Still in the box. Of course, this has a weird everything, so I wouldn't doubt. Yeah, this one has that real crazy blade, but it's for more of a precision cut with the pinch grip. And I wish this one had like where you could pinch, where it kind of tapered down at the front of the scales, where you could use that more. William, yes, that is a Jufool, yes sir, 154 cm Dixon. That is what that is. I've got, you asked about what I have. I've got 4 of them. I got 4 of them. I got 2 from Jufool, which are these 2. I got those 2. And then I got 2 from Lemifshi, which are these 2. This is just the plain milled one. Oh, he sold, it was already sold by the time I messaged him. He didn't update the listing. So it sold for $135. This one has got my favorite blade finish as of late, which is that mirror polished stonewash. It's the only knife I have with the shiny, ultra shiny stonewash, and I like that blade finish for the simple fact that I feel like I could do anything with it and it wouldn't change it much. I could be very aggressive with it. You said the backspacer? Oh yeah, I forgot that. So Jufool didn't put the backspacer in, but Lemifshi did, and I like the backspacer ones better. Just gives it a more solid feel for some reason. It's probably all mental, but, and it looks better to me. I don't like just open knives. I mean, I don't mind it, but I would prefer a backspacer. But yeah, see if anything else glows. Those 2 do for sure. Nothing else glows, I don't think. Oh, Oh, that's on the chat. But yeah, that one's pretty wild. Yeah, Raven the Pirate. That's why I'm going straight to the Chavez booth as soon as I get there. Your driver broke. I don't understand what you're saying. Like your bit driver? Or the screw? Did you ask a question that I didn't see or something? I didn't see a question before that that might let me understand what you're talking about. I'm confused. Just nothing new. Yeah, it's a cool looking knife without the harpoon. His troll broke. What driver? Oh! That one. I actually returned that one. I decided that I didn't need it. If you're talking about that little round one that had the bit holders in the inside of it, I returned that the next week. That's why I was confused, because I forgot about that one. I had just bought this thing that same week, and I liked it better, and so I kept it. So yeah, that one that was round, that what is a Starmate Sprint, Mr. Delt God? By the way, good morning, Delt God. Yeah, these size bits, I think they're the same size as the ones that were in that one, but they're the tiny ones. I've got so many of these driver bit kits, I don't really need any more. I'm not sure if these are the same. This thing's dirty. But this is the electric one that charges up. Let me measure here. I'll measure both of these for you. Make sure they're all the same size. Because like Waylon was saying, there's probably two different sizes for the smaller ones too. The standard ones are 1/4 inch, I believe. The big size ones. These are definitely probably going to be in millimeters. These are 4 millimeter. In this kit. And in the other kit, these are 4 millimeters also. Yeah, they're 4mm. So that might be a standard size for the small ones. I don't have that one anymore, or I would measure it for you. Sorry. Delta God, I don't know. Let's go look at the Spyderco StarMate. What kind of, you said you're getting a good price on it. What does that mean? What is a Spyderco StarMate? First of all, sprint run. Okay. It reminds me of the Capara a little bit, and the amalgam. The amalgam and the... At least it comes with the clip in the right place instead of up at the top like the militaries always come. At least they put it on the right end of the knife from the factory. Yeah, so $450, what's a great price? The one they issued in space was a Benchmade, wasn't it? 210 is awesome. Anything half price of MSRP, or that's not even MSRP. Well, it might be because it's on their website. The one they took to the space station, I think, was a... There's a post on Reddit about that. Space station knife. Yeah, it was a triage. It was a Benchmade. I thought it was. There's a post about it on Reddit when a guy bought one at an estate sale. Space Force USSF. So there's the United States Space Force space bar. So, to answer your question, let me see if I can find that other one. Ah, here it is. This is the one that they had. So, yeah, this one, that was to open the bags. That little notch in the front was to open some of the food Shepherds. It's an Emerson. This one was. And then the new one was Benchmade. But this, yeah, the vacuum seal bags is what that notch in the front was created. Mick Ranger, good morning. Yeah, I would have loved to have gotten the Valiton with the auto mod. But yeah, so there's one of these. Space bar fixed blade. Let's see if that's on AliExpress. You got a link to that one? Let's see. What am I looking for, Waylon? JD, Andrew bought one. Space would be dark matter. Space knife. Whoops, I don't put that in the wrong box. I don't know what, well, if you run across it again, Waylon. Yeah, Andrew just bought a Valiton, and you've seen the auto mods for those, right? We looked at it a couple weeks ago. The sub hilt. Mod. This is the one we watched, but see whose video this is. Juvan.
Each and every one of you. If you haven't had a chance yet and you're so inclined, if you'd hit that subscribe button. Hey, and this is the Volatin, and I think I'm pronouncing that right, subhilt. So the Volatin is a very unique, one-of-a-kind type of Spyderco. So it's got a Spidey hole, just like a Spyderco.
Yeah, so they make a dual action.
But you'll also notice that it has these two indentions here, where the thumb studs, which no other Spyderco has, whoops, lock into that stop pin. So it basically is acting as its stop pin. The thumb studs are. A fellow by the name of Butch Volatin was a high-end custom maker, production maker, did automatics and did folders. And this knife, he again integrates. You'll notice that is the only stop pin. G10 on the bottom, in that bolster, and bam, you've got a full-sized, wonderful feeling, beefy as far as Spyderco liner lock. And it uses this Michael Walker liner lock, which I'm assuming Michael Walker is the inventor.
Show us the auto. Show the auto.
These are such great knives. They are incredibly well done. This is a Spyderco Volatin subhilt.
All right, show us the auto.
Which I think the V means that Butch actually did it. I've seen some marked C, which I'm pretty sure means Corey did them. They did quite a few of them. Not sure how many, but At least a few hundred, I imagine. Really wicked compound grind with that armor period.
You push the...
When you shift this inlay up top towards the spine, there's a little pin that connects it to the sear in there and lifts it back and off the end of the spring and allows it to fire the auto function. You can see the sear moving there. And there's that little step in the end of the spring that I was talking about that the sear catches on. Really, really nice.
Yeah, so that's super cool. All right. Morning, Mitchell. Yeah, JD. So that's the son is still doing the mods. The dad died. Whoops. What was the dad's name? I guess, Smoky Mountain Knife Works had one.
All right, so folks, we've got the one and only James Buckley from Maverick Customs. James, thank you so much for joining us today. The fans of this knife are, yeah, they're rabid. Not only can you...
Yeah, it's a very sought-after knife. But I think you can still send them and get them done. Yeah, here's the two brothers that took over business. I think.
Got right here. This is a Spyderco Sub-Hilt Mini. When you buy them, they come this way. They're nice little folders, work really good. My son does the converting on them, but we do convert them to auto. And you receive them as a numbered piece. They are signed. They come back in their box, and they're also double action, so you can open them up just as a regular folder.
Yeah, so that's kind of what got me into buying the two knives, the two dual action knives that I bought. So you know I bought the Click, which is right here, which is a dual action. And I got the other one. So this one, you can just, use it as a regular reverse flick liner lock, and it closes great. It's got really good action to be such a little blade. So you can just use it like a regular knife. Or you can shift the scale over to the right and it's an auto. Basically kind of the same thing. And before I got this one, I got the, and it doesn't take much to reset it either. The spring is just down here at the very bottom. So it's very easy to close. But before I got this one, I got the other one, the other dual action knife I got, which is the, oh, dang it, it's 3 letters, it's like GSG, what is it called? MSG2. So the MSG2, this is a Vespa, and so it's the same way. It's a liner lock that you just acts like a normal knife, but it's also got auto built, so it's dual action. And this one, it starts, the spring starts at the very back here, so it's a lot harder to reset. You can do it one-handed, but it fires quite a bit harder than the click. But yeah, this is an awesome knife. But I got this one first, and then it got me into wanting another dual action knife, so why not get the click. I just don't like, I don't know, I like my Spydercos, but there's something about that giant hump on a lot of them that unless they're a PM2 or a PM3, I don't want the giant hump anymore. I want just a regular knife blade, like the Shaman, or like the Bodacious, or even something different like this that doesn't have the giant hump. And so those giant hump knives, if they're not, you know, if they're not a PM2 or a Para 3, I think they look weird now, kinda. That being said, I've got clones of this one that I kept, which is not bad. It doesn't have a giant hump. It kind of reminds me of the knife you were looking at, but I don't know. It's something about the big hump on Spydercos. And then this one is the Collabo with Lion Steel, and it's kind of got the big hump, but I don't know. I like the milling on this knife, the milled titanium, and I like the fact that you can remove the flipper tab. You can unscrew it. So I like both of those. Yeah, Nathan M., we've looked at him on Instagram quite a few times. Nathan M. Knives. He does do some great stuff. Yes, those are some of the latest ones. I guess that's why I like these two knives too. I hadn't really thought about it until now, but the Spidey Chef doesn't have a hump, and neither does the Swish Bowie, Slice Bowie. Neither one of those have a hump either, and I like both of those. These three are probably some of my favorite Spydercos, actually. But I'm more of a no hump than a big hump. Yeah, my Nirvana is out for delivery today. So I can't wait to check it out. It'll be going up. It's going to be a lot smaller than this one. But still an awesome looking knife. I just wish this one didn't have these two screw holes on this side. And a backspacer and a backspacer. This and the Python are both awesome knives as well. Yeah, I can't wait to get that knife today. How much smaller is the small Nirvana? Is this a small Nirvana? Like, I don't even know. I don't think so, because this one is 8 3/4 inches long. But so small Nirvana, how big is the small Nirvana? Back to Nathan M real quick. Beautiful knives. Love the stuff he's doing on his blades, the milled blades. Small Nirvana knife. Dang it. So see if the big one says it's 8 3/4. 8 1/8. So it's even bigger than that one. Here we go. That's what it'll be like. But he still doesn't say overall length. Oh yeah, 7.5 overall length. So that's what the one I'm getting today should look like, hopefully. This will be a good video to compare it to. So I'm going to post that link in the links channel. All right. Sever 7, I'm going to shoot a video for members only when it comes in today. So yes, I will compare it to whatever I have that it compares to. Integrals, Spydercos, this Nirvana, the Python. Heck, I'll even compare it to this little one here. We'll see what size it is. JD, no, the clones do not have the same steel. Most of them probably have like 9 CR or maybe like a D2 or a VG10. Heat treat's supposed to be pretty decent on some of that stuff because they figured it out by now. But the Spydercos don't make any. There's a few of them that have real blade steel, but like this one says, well, it doesn't say anything on it. What does it say? It says S30V, but it is definitely not S30V. But the guy on OK Knives will tell you what any of his knives are, and he's sold just about all these clones at one point or another. Now these have 154 cm. Some of, a lot of the nicer clones have real steel. But the cheaper ones don't. All right, I had a couple more links, I think. Oh yeah. Speaking of clones, what about the fact that Nuttin' Fancy did a video back in the day about a Hinderer clone, and he was forced to remove the video after 2 days. Pete, it's from Juful's brother, the Overcome guy that made the anthem. So the guy that made the integral anthems it's Juful's brother, and he made 33 of them this time, and he's making like 15 more. But that's where they came from, Pete. His brother has that company. It's called Overcome, and they have white boxes, and he's made a few knives. In fact, here's the Overcome Your Fear. Here's the anthem. Here's my extra one of those. But he made this integral too. But back to my clone talk. Do y'all remember the reviewer Nuttin' Fancy? If you don't, he was a YouTuber, and he did a video that he was forced to take down after a couple of days, and someone saved it back then and reposted it to Vimeo where it won't be taken down. And it's just funny to hear what was said about it at this point in the knife game.
That is the Kershaw produced Zero Tolerance 0561. Great hard use tactical folding knife. A Hall of Famer here in the Nuttin' Fancy project. It is a licensed variation
Mitchell,
of the very expensive
it's actually an integral
XM18. I talked about that knife and the entire ZT0560 series in a review a few months back. There's really not too much I don't love about this knife. Outstanding quality levels. Fit and finish, superb. 3D machining on the G10, the back titanium, a perfect pocket clip, L-Max steel, great blade shape, great speed, great strength. That's there is. You put all
right.
Then they kind of make themselves vulnerable to this. A Chinese knockoff. Now, if you have not been paying attention to what's going on in China in terms of knives, this might be an eye-opener for you. Because this is an almost, I wouldn't say identical, but let's say a near copy of not so much the 0560 series, but the original Hinderer XM18. And this is going to be my tabletop review on this knife and two other knockoffs. This one actually is called the CTS XM18. It is Chinese produced. Only available in China. This one is called the Enron 803, and they all follow the same theme, as you can see. And as also, I think you'll be able to see, these are good knives. if not great knives in their own right. Now, what I'm not going to do in this video is attack the politics of it. And there's lots of politics, there's lots of discussion about it. Obviously, these are unlicensed copies of Rick Hinderer's design. No money was paid to Rick Hinderer. They're just basically stealing from Rick Hinderer. We know that. But as a reviewer of knives, for me to ignore this phenomena that's going on, I just don't think it's right as a consumer advocate. I'm not doing it.
There you go.
So we're going to concentrate on the blades
exactly.
here in this review. And you will see in this review that this knife gives this knife a run for its money. And then some. You'll also see in the review that the quality levels are distinctly different, and they should be. This is a U.S. produced, superb quality tactical folding knife. The material's top notch. I talked about all that in the review. Here we have a Chinese interpretation of that knife. There's some weirdnesses there. I will tell you this though, by the time you watch this video, you're probably going to want at least one or two of these knives. And if I was Rick Hinderer or Kershaw,
Really?
I wouldn't sweat it too much, because most of the people that will go out and buy this much less expensive copy of the XM18 or the Zero Tolerance 0560 for that matter,
Are not going to be your...
they would never buy this knife.
Yeah.
So in a way, they're really not competing with each other. Because I think a guy that goes out and says, I'm going to buy me a ZT-0561 for $260, I don't know if he'd be satisfied with this knife. Why? I would say second kind of cool. They like having a genuine zero tolerance product, a licensed copy. So
yeah. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that
crap. I tell them by China.
That he said you'd end up wanting one by the end of it.
Ones I'm sure have my blood put them in a type guy tab.
We're not going to watch this whole video. We can look at lots of copies. But
Chinese project.
If you want to check out that video,
it's a very fine edge. It can rust on you, yes. You got to watch
here's
that.
the Vimeo link to it.
But as a high value steel, it's
out.
excellent, especially when you consider the price. I always want you guys to stay very grounded in terms of price. Okay, what you're paying for this. If you want to spring for this one, XM18 or the 0560, great blade shapes though. You got belly in there. Let's look at the grind lines real quick on these. Let me put this here so it'll focus. Decent grinds. Not perfect, but for these Chinese produced knives, they're pretty decent. And I've seen lots of
that's terrible
grinds on so-called U.S. brands.
That's terrible up there by the
both U.S. produced and Chinese and Taiwanese produced. Seen as fast.
He ought to see the ones nowadays.
Very expensive U.S. produced knife. But check this out. The freaking Chinese got it right. Now, good luck trying to find that piece. I didn't see anywhere where they have an extra piece to replace it. Who do you contact on all these knives in terms of...
So he's talking about the lock bar insert.
Chinese Hinderer. It really is. The look, overall look, to most people, they would not know this is not an expensive...
Anyway, enough of that. We've talked about it over and over again. I think do what makes you happy and buy what you want to buy if you're a grown man. And don't be a good person and all of a sudden turn into this evil person that tries to get over on somebody by selling a counterfeit knife as the real thing. That's my biggest hang up, is all these people in this knife hobby talk about all these great people they've met. And then at the same time, if those great people they've met, for some reason, buy a counterfeit knife, they're going to turn into this awful person that tries to sell it as the real thing. When in reality, they've continued to be that same cool, nice person that they've always been. And they're not going to change their morals over a silly knife. So if the person is buying and enjoys it and knows what it is, then no harm, no foul, my opinion. But for this hobby to ostracize people and talk bad about them because of what knives they choose to buy is just completely silly to me. We're all grown men in this hobby. Spend your money how you want to. Just like he said, the people buying these $100 knives are not going to spend $400 or $500 on the same knife it represents. They're not losing customers. If anything, they're getting free advertisement, because when anybody asks me what knife this is, I'm not going to sell it to them. So I tell them it's a McNeese Dixon. You need to go check them out. And I've had 2 or 3, maybe possibly even more, go buy the real knife because of handling one of mine that they thought was the real thing. And I don't feel bad. They weren't like people that, were big into knives. I wasn't trying to get over on anybody. I was just wanting to, advertise the real thing and get them to spend their money with the real maker, because they wouldn't be able to find this knife if I tried to explain it to them. So why not send them to the real deal? And I had a buddy that bought an Empire from, way before I got mine, probably a year and a half ago almost. He went to Winter Blades and bought an Empire because I showed him, or he bought the Empire because I showed him a Factor clone. But he went on the website and saw the magnet stuff, and they were selling the Empire back then, and that's how I feel about it. I just get so upset when these people consider that, they talk about how many great people they've met in this hobby. And I can totally say the same thing. I've met the best quality people of any hobby that I've been into. And I try to explain it like this to people, that by the time someone gets into collecting knives, they've pretty much lived a life to where they've been responsible with money and have a little bit of surplus money that they want to spend on a hobby that they enjoy. And for the most part, there's, quote, successful men, mature men who have some surplus money to spend on a hobby, and they get into this hobby. So that's why it draws in great people to this hobby. And so I have met some of the, the best people in this hobby. And then for people to turn around and talk all this trash and ostracize people because they bought one of these knives instead of supporting, makers that we don't even like. I mean, McNeese, I don't have a problem with, but like Medford, I don't like him. And so, but even though I don't have anything against McNeese, I'm not going to spend $500 on this knife. I've got too many other knives that I would rather have, and I'd rather be able to get 5 like this quality than 1 of his quality. When I think this knife is probably a 90 to 95% as good as the real deal. It doesn't have Magna Cut. It's got 154 cm, so automatically it's 3 or 4 points off for that. But 154 cm, when done correctly, like they're doing it now, 62 HRC and stuff, is plenty good. Yeah, Mitchell, I don't know surplus money, but you got money to spend on your hobby. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I challenge people to please show me a knife that is being cloned that is having trouble selling when they make drops. So every single time a knife that drops that's known about in the community, they sell out pretty quickly. So unless those people want to start producing 3 and 4 times the amount of knives that they're doing, they're not suffering because they're selling out of everything they make. And then another thing is a lot of these knives go out of circulation and they quit making them and move on to the next model. And that's when these start getting cloned. And so they're not available to buy. So a lot of them you can't buy. And, you know, I've heard all these people say, well, if you didn't get it when you could have, then you don't deserve to have it. And so, again, that's just a stupid statement to me. Morning, Andrew. Sever 7. Yeah, there's some Medford knives I like. I'm not saying I don't like his knives, but I don't like him enough that I would never give him money. There's quite a few Medfords I like, but liking them and wanting to support the person behind it are two different things, in my opinion. Yeah, so I mean, we've looked at, you know, there's quite a few Medfords I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't throw it away if somebody gave it to me, that's for sure. But I don't know that I want to spend. I mean, I don't want to give him any money. I even like his new one. Whatever it's called, the Primus 1. And it's a weird looking knife. But I kind of like it. It's, you know, it's got a weird blade. But it's got a hollow grind, so that forgives a lot of its sins. But yeah, you know, there's quite a few. I've got a Marauder H clone that I like. I've got one of these clones that I like. It's a Hilberg, so it's a nice one. But it wasn't $750, I'll tell you that. Yeah, clones actually sell and retain their value more than real knives at the moment. All these new top-notch clones that are being released, like these Dixons, you can pretty much you can buy the knife, keep it for 2 or 3 months, and get exactly the same money that you spent on it back out of it. Which I challenge you to try to do that with another knife. You have to, but yeah, they retain their value better, which is weird. But the quality between the one, that XM18 he was showing on video, and these is night and day difference. They don't make them like they used to, especially ones like this Vespa that uses better materials than Microtech does. They use higher grade aluminum and titanium than at least aluminum than Microtech does. And they do have real blade steel. So this does have M390 on it. And it is real. But the Spydercos don't ever do that. They don't really seem to make. I mean, there are a few that you can buy now that are like $300 and $400 that have real blade steel. Yeah, Spyderco for the most part have just been so mass produced. They just used whatever steel, along with the Benchmates. If y'all wouldn't mind smashing that like button, help a brother out. My Marauder H. My Marauder H looks like this. And this is a Hilberg. And it's pretty much the same. The nice belt satin grinds on it that I just wiped oil on. But yeah, it's a big boy knife. Thing's huge, actually. Definitely the biggest knife on the table. BA, you see the new Exceed blade I missed? I did not. But mine is out for delivery today. The tool one. The multi-tool, whatever it's called. Yeah, this blade is out for delivery today. Ill Knives. Vespas. Go look up on Reddit people that buy Vespas that have owned real Microtechs, and they will tell you that the Vespas are better. Better tolerances. Better fit and finish. But Vespas only focus on Microtechs for the most part. Yeah, Spyderco's heat treat is on point. But there are some. Let me show you something here, McRanger. There are some Spydercos. And what is the C number? Hold on. Spyderco PM2. What is the C number for the PM2? Where is it? C what? C81. So C81 is the C number. And this company right here has a $563 full DLC hand engraved S35 S30V. S30V. This one's overpriced, but there are some of these that are super nice. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if this store has the ones I'm thinking of. So, yeah, so this store, this is a C223, which is the Para 3 with real blade steel. So this has real DLC and real S30V. And of course, real titanium. But there are some nicer copies of some Spydercos. C81 DLC knife. There's some more of them too, but I'm not running across them. There's a couple of places that have some new ones. I wonder if there's one, a C81 with M390. So, yeah, that mirror polish one's pretty cool. Mirror polished M390 steel. Now, I don't believe that. It's mirror polished, but I don't think it's real M390. But occasionally you do see some guys. Here's that Overcome guy. And the actual post for that small Nirvana was right here. This is what the post for that knife that I'm getting today was. And it does have the blade hole. They just can't show that. But you can see that it is a real integral. And it's supposed to be 7.5 inches. Hey, Google, what's 180 millimeters in inches?
180 millimeters is equivalent to 7.087 inches.
So it might be a little smaller than 7.5. It says it's 178 millimeters. But yeah, that one's out for delivery today. Can't wait to check it out. It does have real M390 blade steel. Yeah, Waylon, the clone Spydercos do have tons better action. Since they mostly all run on bearings. But this one has some brutal detent and great closing action. So do all the rest of these. They're all on bearings just about. Which is something I don't like Spydercos. I mean, they're hard use knives, but like my real PM2 has garbage action when I actually get the pivot tight enough to not have any side-to-side play. And this one still has a little bit of side-to-side play, and it's almost impossible to shake closed. Terrible action. I do have my Para 3, which is down here. My real Para 3, which is this one. I've got it tuned a little better where it will close. But Spydercos, for the most part, when you get the pivot tight enough to not have side-to-side play, the washers don't let it close very friendly. So that pisses me off. Whereas these just drop shut because of the bearings. And they don't have side-to-side play. But Spyderco does have their heat treat down. Those tests from Taylor's have been showing that. Well, we've gone an hour and 45 minutes. I need to mention something about the episode 500 giveaway. I'm going to be doing a pretty big giveaway for each. I'm going to do a regular viewer giveaway and a members giveaway. And I've decided we have 5 episodes left until then. We have 96, 97, 98, 99, and then 500. So those 5 episodes, in order to enter the giveaway, here's what you got to do. You have to comment on one of those 5 videos on the actual video, not the live chat. So to be entered for the giveaway, and I'm going to pick a random one of those 5 videos, and then I'm going to pick a random comment from said video. So for the next 5 days, whenever the episode's over or later in the day or just sometime, go back and comment on the live to where your comment actually shows up as a comment and not as part of the live chat. That way, anybody who watches the video, whether they're with us here on the live or they're one of the people that watch it later or when they get off work or whatever, everybody will have the same chance. And it will help my, and I would say this is not starting today. This is starting tomorrow for the last 5 videos, 96, 97, 98, 99, and 500. And I will make a post about that on both my Instagram and my YouTube page, explaining that again. But nobody ever goes back and comments on the videos after they're over. And I'd like to get more people here to talk knives with us. It's really, I could care less about my channel. I mean, I like the fact that it's growing, but only because I meet more people in this hobby and get to talk about knives with more people and hear other people's recommendations and all that. So it's really just a matter of wanting more people here to join us. Oh, this is the second time you brought up that concept Contra. I need to go look at it for you, Nick. I apologize. You should have said something earlier. I would have gone and looked at it. I like it. I like it a lot, first look. First time I've seen it, I like the front flipper. I like where they put the harpoon. I like the blade shape. I like the handle shape. I like the clean lines on it. And I'm pretty sure you knew I would love it. And that's why you asked me about it. I like how it looks closed. I like how it looks open. I like the fact that it's a thumb stud, doesn't have a flipper tab, and has a front flipper. So all those are great. So I need to get one. So there you go. Coming soon in June. My daughter's birthday is in June, so I'm going to buy this knife for myself for her birthday. No, I'm just going to buy the knife, period, but I remember this knife is coming out because it's coming out the same month my daughter was born. And I've been waiting on a good version of this knife, and I love the exclusive versions from White Mountain Knives of the Kaisers. And this Kaiser warning is going to be a banger. Yeah. I like the zoom. I like the blade finish. Milling looks good. Clean lines everywhere. T6 thumb stud and T8 pivot. T8 clip. Why can't they put titanium clips on their new titanium knives? I don't think that's titanium, but could be wrong. Yeah, I just wish the new Main Street wasn't a crossbar lock. Do they make a frame lock? Frame lock Main Street? Think they make a mini Main Street, maybe? Or little Main Street? Nope, it's a crossbar too. Nope, yeah, they got a frame lock of the little one. I don't know why they don't have a frame lock of the big one. Maybe they do. Nope, doesn't look like it. Yeah, so I've looked at the mini Main Street numerous times. I just can't deal with crossbar locks. There's nothing wrong with the clip, Waylon, other than it being steel. I would probably rather have steel on that clip than aluminum. But I just wish it was titanium. It could be the exact same shape and be titanium very easily. Yeah, I don't mind the clip at all. The clips work great. And they use the new T8 screws. But it's just like the clip on my T1. Stainless steel. Yeah, their milled clips are pretty close to the same look, though. And Pete, you asked me about clips. I've got Kaiser titanium clips somewhere. They look pretty close to the same, though. So there's a milled titanium one. They're not much different. They're just solid. But the actual shape of them, it's just titanium instead of stainless steel. And this one's not milled. It's just bent, I'm sure. But even their titanium ones would be better. Oh, they got a button a button lock, top liner lock. They got a top liner lock Main Street coming. That would be awesome. Where am I supposed to look? Coming soon? Where did you say go? There's not a... Where's the coming soon section? Aha. Where is it? Here it is. Top liner lock. Heck yeah. Now that one I can do. Is it titanium or aluminum? Titanium because it starts with a T, maybe. Yeah, that one I can do. What do you got, Pete, before we head out of here? Oh, yeah, that one. And the black one. I'll tell you what has worked for me, Pete. If you email them on things they're sold out of, like clips, they will send them to you straight from China. They just don't have them in inventory here. Because if you look, it says for non-US customer, low stock, but it doesn't say sold out. So if you email them, they'll send them to you straight from China. Because if you were in another country right now, you could buy one. It doesn't say sold out, it says low stock. Let's see if both of them, yeah, both of them say that. All right. Thank y'all for joining me for episode 495. 5 more episodes until that magic 500. Can't believe I've done something 500 days in a row. Every single day. I couldn't have done it without y'all. I would not be talking to myself. That is for sure. I would have given up long ago had I not met some super cool people in here. If I would have had a channel full of Lone Star Ladyboys, I would have given up long ago. So, anyway, love y'all, appreciate y'all. Don't forget, starting tomorrow, to go back and comment on the last 5 videos. Good morning, Dwayne Letterman. If I didn't say that, I saw you hop in a minute ago. Got a bunch of knives on the table. What am I going to carry today? For some reason, I was just flicking this one again. Action on this thing is so nice. And I like my little spicy Damascus pivot. And I did that little texturing to the clip on this one. I like it too. Might throw this back in the pocket, but there's a lot of stuff out here today that I like. I'm going to be getting my Nirvana in the mailbox later. So maybe I should carry my Nirvana until I get the other one. And then retire this one forever. Because those stupid 2 screw holes over here. It drives me nuts when I look at the side of this knife. Because you're supposed to look at this knife and not see those 2 screw holes. And then you know that it's solid as a rock. Yeah, I think I'm going to throw that in the pocket. All right, once again, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Have a great Tuesday. See you tomorrow.